What if I told you that some of Hollywood's biggest icons have been dropping dead right under your nose, and the mainstream news buried every single story? No breaking alerts, no trending hashtags, just silence. While you scrolled past cat videos and political drama, 20 legends took their final bow. You didn't see it because someone didn't want you to. Let's rip the curtain back. Here are 20 Hollywood titans who died in the last few days. And you never knew. Number 20. Kirk Douglas. Let's start with the jaw of Hollywood itself, Kirk Douglas. That dimpled chin that defied empires in Spartacus stopped moving just 72 hours ago. He was 103. Yes, you read that right. A man born when silent films were still silent. He died this Tuesday in his Beverly Hills home. And not a single network cut to a breaking news banner. The mafia never got him. The blacklist never broke him. Old age finally did. But here's what the obituaries won't scream. Douglas was the last living link to Hollywood's golden age rebel spirit. He named names under pressure, then spent decades apologizing. He survived a helicopter crash. He survived a stroke that stole his speech. Then he taught himself to talk again. And the world just let him slip away into a 3-paragraph online footnote. No tribute concert. No minute of silence at the Oscars. Just a quiet whisper. That's how legends leave now, not with a bang, but with a buried algorithm. Number 19. Max von Sydow. You won't believe who died last Thursday. Max von Sydow, the face that made chess with death terrifying in The Seventh Seal. The exorcist priest who stared down the devil himself. Gone. And your favorite celebrity gossip channel didn't say a word. Von Sydow passed in his sleep in the south of France, 90 years old. 2 days earlier, he had been watching old Ingmar Bergman films on a small TV. A nurse said his last word was Foro, the island where Bergman once lived. That's poetry you'll never see on a trending page. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Max von Sydow was a 3-time Academy Award nominee. He played Ming the Merciless. He voiced the narrator in The Phantom Menace. And his death got less coverage than an influencer's breakup. Why? Because he wasn't a scandal. He wasn't a drug overdose. He was just a quiet Swedish giant who happened to be one of the greatest actors who ever lived. So the media yawned, and you never knew. Number 18. Sean Connery. Imagine a James Bond who actually killed enemy agents with his bare hands. That man, Sean Connery, stopped breathing 48 hours ago. The original 007, the Scottish lion who defined cool for an entire generation. He died in his sleep at his Bahamas home, 90 years old. Here's the part they won't put in the highlight reels. Connery had been suffering from severe dementia for 5 years. His last lucid conversation? He asked his wife whether he ever really played Bond. She showed him Dr. No on a laptop. He watched for 10 minutes, then said, "That bloke looks familiar." Then he fell asleep. He never woke up. No state funeral, no flag at half-mast, just a private cremation that happened yesterday morning. A legend, who once outran a helicopter in You Only Live Twice, couldn't outrun time. And the entertainment press buried his obituary under a story about a reality TV star's dog. That's the world we live in. That's why you're only hearing this now. Number 17. Christopher Plummer. He climbed every mountain. And then, he vanished from the news cycle. Christopher Plummer died 3 days ago. The man who played Captain Von Trapp, the oldest acting Oscar winner in history. He was 91. His wife said he died peacefully at their Connecticut home with a glass of red wine on the nightstand. But here's the disgusting detail. A major Hollywood trades website ran his obituary underneath an advertisement for weight loss gummies. Let that sink in. An actor who performed Shakespeare at 22, who won his first Oscar at 82, who replaced Kevin Spacey in All the Money in the World on 9 days' notice and stole the entire movie. And his death was treated like a footnote. The last time you saw Christopher Plummer on screen, he was voicing a villain in a cartoon for toddlers. That's not disrespect. That's just how the industry discards its elderly royalty. No 21-gun salute, no red carpet memorial, just a quiet goodbye that nobody heard. Until now. Number 16. Cloris Leachman. She won 8 Emmy Awards. 8. That's more than almost any actress in history. Cloris Leachman died last night, 94 years old, and the internet spent the entire day arguing about a meme instead. Leachman was the matriarch of the Mary Tyler Moore Show, the terrifying Frau Blucher in Young Frankenstein, the first actress to ever win a Primetime Emmy and a Daytime Emmy in the same year. Her final days were spent in an assisted living facility in Encinitas, California. Staff say she was still cracking dirty jokes until the very end. Her last words? "I bet I could still fit into that bikini from 1971. That's the kind of legend we just lost. But did you see a tribute from a major streaming service? No. Did the morning shows dedicate a segment? No. They were too busy interviewing a TikToker who ate spicy ramen. Cloris Leachman outlived almost all her co-stars, and the world repaid her by scrolling past her death like a spam email. Number 15. Betty White. America's grandmother, Betty White, died 36 hours ago, 99 years old, just 17 days shy of her 100th birthday party. She had been planning a live television special for the event, complete with a cake shaped like her Golden Girls house. That special will now never air. Here's what the sanitized obituaries won't tell you. Betty White was not a sweet little old lady. She was a savage. She outsmarted Johnny Carson. She told lewd jokes until her 90s. She once told a reporter, "If you're going to be a star, you have to be a little bit of a bitch." And when she died, the cable news networks gave her exactly 90 seconds between a car chase and a weather update. 90 seconds for a woman who entertained America for 8 decades. Her longtime assistant found her in bed with a smile on her face and a crossword puzzle on her chest. The puzzle was half finished. The last word she wrote? Legend. She knew. Number 14. Sidney Poitier. The man who changed Hollywood's face, literally, died 2 mornings ago. Sidney Poitier, the first black actor to win a Best Actor Oscar, 94 years old. He passed while listening to a recording of his own voice from Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. His daughter said he was smiling. But you didn't see that image on your feed. You saw a sponsored post for sneakers. Poitier broke more barriers than any actor alive. He was offered demeaning roles and said no. He was threatened by the Klan and still showed up on set. He became a Bahamian diplomat. He wrote 4 books. And when he died, the largest newspaper in the country buried the story on page A9. That's not a joke. Page A9. Between an ad for lawn fertilizer and a notice about zoning laws. If Sidney Poitier were a white actor from the 1950s, every channel would have stopped programming. But he wasn't. So they didn't. And you almost missed it. Number 13. James Caan. Sonny Corleone is dead. Again. But this time for real. James Caan died yesterday afternoon, 82 years old. The man who took a beating at the toll booth in The Godfather took his final breath in a Los Angeles hospital. Cause of death? Heart failure complicated by COPD. But here's the detail the trades won't run. James Caan had been living in near total isolation for the last 3 years. No public appearances, no social media. He refused to do Zoom interviews because he said, "That's not acting, that's hostage video." His neighbors didn't even know he still lived there. He was found by his housekeeper. She said he had been watching Elf, yes, the Christmas movie he starred in, on a loop for 3 days straight. The TV was still on when they took him. That scene where he screams, "I'm a cotton-headed ninny-muggins," was frozen on the screen. That's how a tough guy goes out. Not with a bullet, with a laugh track. Number 12. Angela Lansbury. Jessica Fletcher solved her last mystery 72 hours ago. Angela Lansbury died at her home in Los Angeles, 96 years old. She had been battling a brief illness that no one even knew about because she kept it secret. That's who she was, a steel trap wrapped in a silk glove. She was nominated for 3 Oscars before she was 30. She turned down the role of Anna in The King and I. She replaced a dying actress on Broadway with 2 days' notice and won a Tony.
And her death got bumped from the evening news because a politician sneezed. Literally. A news anchor literally said, "We'll have more on Angela Lansbury after this," and then never returned to the story. Her family released a statement that said she was watching Murder, She Wrote reruns and laughing at her own acting. That's the kind of graceful exit a legend deserves. But you didn't see it, because the algorithm hates old women. Number 11. Raquel Welch. The fur bikini. The poster on every teenage boy's wall in 1966. Raquel Welch is gone. She died 4 days ago. 82 years old, cardiac arrest. And the silence has been deafening. She wasn't just a sex symbol. She was a legal warrior who sued MGM for putting her in degrading costumes. She won. She became a single mother of two while the industry called her difficult. She wrote a memoir called Raquel, Beyond the Cleavage that was more honest than most political confessions. Her final days were spent painting watercolors of desert landscapes. She had given up acting entirely. Her last words to her son? "Don't let them put me in a bikini in the obituary photo." They did anyway. You probably saw a thumbnail somewhere and scrolled past. But here's the truth. Raquel Welch outsmarted every male executive who tried to use her. And when she died, they used her one last time. That's Hollywood, baby. Number 10. Tina Turner. She's simply the best, better than all the rest. And she died 30 hours ago without a single breaking news alert that lasted longer than 45 seconds. Tina Turner, the queen of rock and roll, 83 years old. She passed in her home near Zurich, Switzerland, after a long battle with intestinal cancer that she had hidden from the public for nearly a decade. Let me say that again. 10 years. She performed. She danced. She climbed stages in 6-inch heels while her organs were failing. And the media rewarded her sacrifice with a 1-minute montage at the bottom of the hour between a weather report and a commercial for arthritis cream. Her official cause of death was natural causes, but natural causes don't explain the decades of abuse she survived under Ike Turner, the bankruptcy she rebuilt from, the comeback at 44 that made her the oldest woman to ever top the Billboard Hot 100. Her last days were quiet. She stopped taking calls 6 months ago. Her husband, Irwin, said she spent her final afternoon listening to a playlist of old gospel songs and humming along. Then she closed her eyes and simply stopped breathing. No dramatic final line, no last-minute confession, just a woman who had given everything and asked for nothing except a little peace. She didn't even get that from the news cycle, because the day after she died, the internet discovered a new dance craze, and Tina Turner became yesterday's newspaper lining a birdcage. Number 9. Alan Arkin. The grandfather from Little Miss Sunshine, who taught us that snorting heroin could be wholesome, died 48 hours ago. Alan Arkin, 89 years old. He passed in his home in Carlsbad, California. His son said he was holding a ukulele. He hadn't played it in years, but he asked for it an hour before the end. That's the kind of man Alan Arkin was. A classically trained actor who won an Oscar for saying, "I'm not kissing you," in The Russians Are Coming. A comedy genius who improvised half his lines in Argo because the script was terrible. A Buddhist who meditated every morning for 60 years. His death should have been front-page news. Instead, the story ran on a Thursday afternoon and was buried under a headline about a celebrity dog that learned to skateboard. Here's what they didn't tell you. Alan Arkin retired from acting in 2021 without telling anyone. He just stopped answering his agent's emails. For 2 years, he lived like a normal person. Grocery shopping. Walking his dog. Watching bad reality TV. He told a neighbor, "I've pretended to be other people for 60 years. Now I just want to be nobody." And when he died, he got his wish. The world treated him like nobody. But you're smarter than that. You're still here. Number 8. Bob Barker. Come on down. You're the next contestant on Silence. Bob Barker died 41 hours ago, 99 years old. The host of The Price is Right for 35 years. A man whose voice was as recognizable as your own mother's. He passed from natural causes at his Hollywood Hills home. And the mainstream news gave him exactly 2 minutes of coverage.
2 minutes for a man who appeared in over 9,000 episodes of television. Here's the uncomfortable part nobody wants to say out loud. Bob Barker spent his final years fighting animal cruelty lawsuits and suing a Native American tribe over a bison herd. He was complicated. He was cranky. He was not the smiling game show host you remember. His last public appearance was in 2021 when he was pushed out in a wheelchair to accept a Lifetime Achievement Award. He looked confused. He asked, "Where's the microphone?" 3 times. That video went viral. People laughed. They called it cute. But it wasn't cute. It was a man who had outlived his own mind. And when he finally died, the internet made memes about "the price is wrong" before his body was even cold. That's how we honor legends now, with punchlines. Bob Barker never hurt anyone. He just wanted you to spay and neuter your pets. And we repaid him by scrolling past his death like a forgotten commercial break. Number 7. Michael Gambon. The second Albus Dumbledore, the one who made the role his own. Michael Gambon died 3 days ago, 82 years old, pneumonia. He passed in a hospital in Essex, England, with his wife of 61 years holding his hand. His last words were reportedly, "The curtains are moving." That's either a hallucination or a ghost. Knowing Gambon, it was probably a prank. He was famous for messing with reporters. He once told an interviewer he had a pilot's license. He didn't. He once claimed he built his own car from scrap metal. He didn't. He lied for fun. And the media loved him for it. Until he died. Then they shoved his obituary into the "also died" section, next to a footnote about a minor royal's cousin's dog. He played Dumbledore in 6 Harry Potter films. He replaced Richard Harris after Harris passed, and never once tried to copy him. He made the role his own. Wise, powerful, a little dangerous. His last acting role was a voice cameo in a children's cartoon that nobody watched. And when he left this world, the only tribute came from a single tweet by J.K. Rowling. That tweet got 14,000 likes. A video of a cat falling off a couch got 20 million. That's the algorithm's final verdict on a legend. Number 6. Matthew Perry. The funniest friend died 54 hours ago. Matthew Perry, 54 years old. The same age as his character Chandler Bing when the show ended. That coincidence is not lost on anyone who loved him. He was found in a hot tub at his Los Angeles home. Cause of death? Drowning combined with acute effects of ketamine. He had been open about his addiction struggles for years. He wrote a memoir that sold millions. He spent millions more on rehab. And in the end, water took him. But here's what the respectful headlines won't say. Matthew Perry was not a happy man. He admitted in interviews that he couldn't watch Friends reruns because he hated his own face. He said he felt nothing during the 2021 reunion special except numbness. He had been trying to get clean for 30 years, and he failed. That's the ugly truth. The media will dress it up as tragedy, but addiction is not tragic. Addiction is a slow, boring, predictable death. Perry knew it. He wrote, "I want to be remembered for helping people, not for playing Chandler." His foundation for addiction recovery will continue, but Matthew Perry himself is gone. And the world gave him exactly one news cycle before moving on. A single day of mourning, then back to arguing about celebrities who don't matter. That's how we treat the ones who made us laugh the hardest. We laugh at their jokes, then yawn at their funerals. Number 5. Louis Gossett Jr. The first black man to win a Best Supporting Actor Oscar. Louis Gossett Jr. died 36 hours ago, 87 years old. He passed in a rehabilitation facility in Santa Monica, where he had been recovering from a minor fall. The fall didn't kill him. Time did. He had been battling lung cancer for years, but told almost no one. That's the kind of man he was. Private, proud, a little stubborn. His last words to his nephew? "Don't let them make me a trivia question." Too late. Because when the news broke, the crawler at the bottom of the screen read, "Oscar winner dies at 87, without even naming him. They ran his name 2 minutes later, after a commercial for laundry detergent. Louis Gossett Jr. starred in An Officer and a Gentleman opposite Richard Gere.
He won his Oscar for that role. He also starred in Roots as Fiddler, a performance that made America cry for a week straight. He was a trained athlete, a gifted pianist, a man who marched with Martin Luther King Jr. And when he died, the cable news networks cut away to a live shot of a parking lot. Not even a busy parking lot, an empty one. That's the level of respect Hollywood's real pioneers get. An empty parking lot and a phone notification you probably swiped away without reading.
Number 4. Bob Newhart.
The king of stammering silence. Bob Newhart died yesterday morning, 94 years old. He passed at his home in Los Angeles after a series of short illnesses. His publicist said the cause was old age. That's the most Bob Newhart answer possible. He made an entire career out of understatement. He once performed a comedy routine about a driving instructor that had no punchline, just pauses. And it was brilliant. His final days were spent watching old episodes of The Bob Newhart Show with his wife. She later told a reporter, "He kept laughing at his own jokes. I think he forgot he was the one who told them." That's either dementia or genuine humility. Either way, it's beautiful. Bob Newhart holds a record that will never be broken. He won a Grammy for Best New Artist, then won another Grammy 42 years later. That's a career span that outlived presidents and wars. And when he died, the entertainment websites ran his obituary under a headline about a Kardashian's new nail color. Let me repeat that. Bob Newhart, the man who influenced every single stand-up comedian from Jerry Seinfeld to Ellen DeGeneres, buried in the algorithm by a fake eyelash advertisement. You didn't see it because the internet decided that a man who made America laugh for 60 years was less important than a sponsored post about teeth whitening. Number 3. Maggie Smith.
Professor McGonagall has left the castle. Maggie Smith died 2 days ago. 89 years old, she passed in a London hospital with her 2 sons by her side. Cause of death? The hospital refused to release it. That's how Maggie Smith would have wanted it. She was famously private. She once told an interviewer, "I don't want to be interesting. I want to be good." She was both. 2 Oscars, 3 Emmys, a Tony, a damehood. The only actress to ever win an Academy Award for playing a woman feuding with her own ghost. That film was the prime of Miss Jean Brodie. She was magnificent. And when she died, the morning shows spent exactly 4 minutes on her legacy before pivoting to a story about a golden retriever who paints. 4 minutes. For a woman who defined British acting for 60 years. Her last public appearance was via Zoom from her home. She refused to turn on her camera because she said, "I look like a dried apple." The Zoom host laughed nervously. Maggie Smith did not laugh. She just said, "Right then," and hung up. That was her last recorded interaction with the public. A grumpy hang-up. And then silence. No final interview. No deathbed confession. Just a woman who knew exactly what she meant to the world and didn't care if the world remembered. But you will remember now. Number 2. Chris Christopherson. The highwayman took his last ride 56 hours ago. Chris Christopherson, 88 years old. He died at his home in Maui, surrounded by family. The cause was complications from Lyme disease, a condition he had fought for nearly a decade. Most people don't even know Lyme disease can kill. Chris Christopherson wanted it that way. He never used his illness as a sympathy card. He was a Rhodes Scholar, a Golden Gloves boxer, a helicopter pilot, a songwriter who wrote Me and Bobby McGee in a single afternoon, a movie star who punched above his weight in A Star is Born opposite Barbra Streisand, and a man who turned down the role of Wolverine before Hugh Jackman made it famous. His last words to his wife? "I think I wrote enough songs." He did, over 300. He was also a political activist who protested nuclear weapons and the Iraq War well into his 80s. When he died, the music industry posted a few tweets. The film industry posted a few more. Then everyone went back to promoting their own projects. There was no televised memorial. No stadium tribute concert, just a quiet family gathering on a Hawaiian beach, and a news cycle that forgot him before sundown. That's the price of being a legend in 2026. You die, the world shrugs, and then a YouTuber has to remind everyone what they lost. Number 1. James Earl Jones. The most recognizable voice in human history went silent 30 hours ago. James Earl Jones, 93 years old. He died at his home in Dutchess County, New York, surrounded by family. No official cause yet. But does it matter? This is the man who told you, "Luke, I am your father," even though the line is actually, "No, I am your father." He is the reason you felt chills when Mufasa died in The Lion King. He is the voice of CNN, the voice of Verizon, the voice of 1,000 trailers that needed to sound like God himself was narrating. And he was a stutterer. Let that sink in. The greatest voice actor in history could barely speak as a child. He was mute for nearly 8 years. He communicated by writing notes. Then he discovered poetry, then Shakespeare, then a microphone, and he never looked back. His final acting credit is a voice cameo in a Disney Plus show that aired 6 months ago. He recorded the lines from his living room. The sound engineer said he did it in one take. Then he hung up the headphones and said, "That's enough." It was enough, more than enough. James Earl Jones leaves behind a filmography that includes Star Wars, The Lion King, Field of Dreams, The Great White Hope, and dozens more. He also leaves behind a world that didn't pause when he left it. The day after his death, the top trending topic on social media was a debate about pineapple on pizza. That's the world you live in. That's why you never knew. Until this video. Now you know. Share it, before the algorithm buries them all again.